Welcome back to this week's video, you guys. I'm glad you're hanging out with me this month because we're going over some nutrition basics. This is stuff that is probably blowing your mind if this is the first time you're hearing it. And if it's not the first time, it's probably helpful to get some reminders. Like last week we talked about dairy, the week before we talked about sugar and sweeteners. Those things are hard to let go, right? Because they're so ingrained in the way that we cook and the way that we eat. But once you really learn the nutrition science behind it, it can be easier to let go of. So today we're going to be talking about oil. Why is it helpful to let go of oils in your diet? Okay, so if this is the first time you've come across one of my videos, my name's Danielle. I'm a national board certified health and wellness coach, and I'm a plant-based nutrition educator. So I do these videos every single week, so go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel or come on over to IGTV and find me at dd.healthcoach, or you can join my free Facebook group called Healthy Living with Danielle Dinkelman. So wherever you like to be, I'd love to hang out with you on social media and would love to help you figure out how to upgrade your nutrition, how to prioritize your self-care, and take charge of your habits. Once we figure those things out, we can really start to move the needle on where we want to be with our health, with our energy, and with really the ability to live our lives to the fullest, right? So today we're talking about oil. I subscribe to a whole food, plant-based way of eating. So if you've hung out with me for a while, you're actually already like on board with that way of eating, or maybe you're just kind of curious and you're learning a little bit by bit as you're hanging out with me and others on social media. Now, in the whole food plant-based world, there is this idea of going oil-free, no oil. This is sometimes one of the hardest things for people to let go of. They can let go of dairy, they can let go of meat, they can really ramp up their fruits and vegetables and start getting used to beans and grains more. But there's just something about the oil that people have a hard time letting go of. So I want to make it a little easier for you by teaching you what oil is and why it's not super helpful for our health goals. So, what is oil? Now, this might sound familiar if you listened to my sugar or my sweeteners episode a couple weeks ago. Oil is a highly processed food. Okay, yes, it comes from plants, so it is plant-based, but it's not a whole food because in order to get oil, you have to take something like an avocado or an olive or flaxseed and take it out of its natural state, break it apart to turn it into oil. So let me walk you through that process a little bit. Let's take an olive, for example. An olive, like all plant foods, has all three macronutrients: protein, carbohydrate, and fat, okay? Now, in order to create oil, we want to isolate the fat, okay? Olives also have fiber and water, which don't really give us any nutrition and they don't have any calorie value to them, but it makes up the bulk of what fills our stomach when we eat that food, right? So if we want to take an olive and turn it into oil, we're going to strip away the fiber and the water. We're going to strip away the protein and the carbohydrate. And what are you left with? It's 100% fat. Yep. Oil is 100% fat. And what have you learned about fat as you've been hanging out with me lately? Fat, 1 gram of fat, contains 9 calories of energy in that 1 gram, whereas 1 gram of protein or carbohydrate has about 4 calories per gram. Do you see the problem? If you're eating a food that is higher in fat, you're automatically doubling the amount of calories in the same package. The same space that it's going to take up in your stomach is having more than twice the amount of calories. Okay, we call that calorie density. So the problem with that is you are consuming way more calories than what it seems like is actually filling up your stomach, right? So if weight loss is on your radar, you definitely want to think about letting go of high-fat foods, especially oil. Okay, so little anecdote for you. When I first started learning about whole food plant-based eating, one of the first things that I shifted was I stopped cooking with oil, especially when I was sauteing vegetables, which I did a lot of. I had already really learned how to eat whole food and clean eating, but I was still using a lot of oil every time I sauteed my garlic and my onions, every time I made a stir fry, anytime there was a vegetable in a pan, there was oil with it. Okay, can you relate to that? So I thought I would start experimenting with this whole food plant-based way of oil-free. And you know what? I did not miss the greasiness. I did not miss that film on my vegetables. I started leaning on herbs and spices a little bit more to create interest and flavor there. But I gotta tell you, in the first month of eating this way and just making that little tweak, my husband started losing weight, and he was not changing anything else, you guys. It was really interesting because as we talked about it, we're like, why is he losing weight? He had some weight to lose, so this wasn't an unhealthy weight loss. It was definitely a healthy change for him, and we attribute that to letting go of the oil. Let me give you some perspective on that. 1 tablespoon of olive oil is about 120 calories. Okay, that's like more than an entire apple. How much is an apple gonna fill you up compared to 1 little tablespoon of olive oil? Okay, you see, that's where that calorie density really comes in. We want to be consuming whole foods because they are not as calorie dense, and then we can start trusting our hunger signals. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic way to live, and it's a fantastic way to lose weight because you don't have to worry about portion control very much. You don't have to count calories. Just focus on eating whole plant foods that still have the fiber and the water intact, and you will be consuming less calories, and chances are you're gonna shed some weight because of it. So there is a quick understanding of oil, what it is, how to let go of it, why to let go of it. And I challenge you, go ahead and give that a try. Start learning how to saute your vegetables, your garlic, your onion, your stir-fry veggies with just a little bit of water. You may be listening just to the audio of this, but if you're watching the video, I actually bought an oil cruise that I keep next to my stove, and I just keep filtered water in this, and I keep that next to my cooking pans. So when I'm cooking, all you have to do is use a little bit of water to help that food not stick to the pan, and you'll be just fine. Now, hang out with me for a while. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all those places. If you would like some hands-on tips of how to cook without oil, I'm looking forward to doing more cooking demo type videos in the future, so hang out with me. If you are local to the Utah area, let me know if you're interested in coming to a cooking class sometimes, because I do those on a monthly basis here in Springville, Utah, and I'm thinking about turning those into some recorded digital cooking classes as well that you might be able to get some access to. So let me know if you're interested in really getting some hands-on instruction in how to totally turn this upside down the way that you've been cooking for years, of how to make it healthier and oil-free. Love to hear from you. In the meantime, I'll see you in next week's video.